Welcome to this explainer. In the modern world of golf architecture, designers usually want to leave a massive, flashing mark, right? But today we're exploring the brilliance of a true visionary who does the exact opposite, Gil Hanse. We're going to introduce a modern master who beautifully balances creating new masterpieces with protecting timeless ones. Let's look at how he built an extraordinary legacy by protecting the past rather than erasing it. Okay, let's dive into this. The best restoration isn't about changing history, it's about revealing it. This single thought is the absolute core of Gil Hanse's philosophy. While most architects, they want you to admire their visible fingerprints, Hanse is entirely ego-free. His fingerprints are virtually invisible. His whole goal is to pull back the layers of time to reveal the brilliance that was already there. Section 1. The Modern Master. Let's get into exactly who Gil Hanse is and how he built such an extraordinary reputation in the golfing world. So how did he build this reputation? Well, looking at his credentials, you can see Hanse is absolutely impeccable across the board. We're talking 5 stars in classical design, strategic variety, and environmental stewardship. But his true superpower? That lies in restoration excellence. He possesses this unparalleled ability to update historic, treasured courses while completely preserving their original soul. His professional journey is a literal masterclass in patience. Born in New York in '63, he studied landscape architecture at Cornell in the '80s, and then established his own firm quite modestly in 1993. Crucially, while other designers in the '90s were chasing these wild, modern trends, Hanse stayed laser-focused on timeless principles. And that quiet dedication is exactly what positioned him, 2 decades later, for the 2012 selection to design the Rio Olympic course. Section 2. The problem with time. This brings us to the central conflict of our explainer, the inevitable degradation of historic, legendary golf courses. Imagine standing on a historic first tee, and you're tasked with updating it for modern play. Where do you even start? Well, before moving a single bunker or cutting a single tree, Hanse stops and asks you, what was the original architect trying to achieve? Answering that is way harder than it sounds, because time changes literally everything. And this brilliantly illustrates how classic courses degrade over time. Trees planted decades later mature and choke the fairways. Greens naturally settle, gradually losing their original character to simplified maintenance. And, of course, modern technology completely alters how golfers attack holes. Time effectively hides the architect's original intentions, changing the way generations experience the fairways. So, how on earth do you prepare a classic course for modern bombers without losing its soul? Section 3. Lessons from the Golden Age. Let's shift gears to see how Hanse prepared himself to tackle this exact problem by becoming a devoted student of golf's golden age. To solve this problem, Hanse realized he couldn't just guess. He had to become a student. He didn't search for shortcuts. And while a lot of other architects learned by sitting at a desk drafting plans, Gil Hanse learned by walking the land. He traveled to historic courses all over the world, spending hours just walking the property to feel the natural slopes, calculate risks, and understand the original routing decisions firsthand. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that he didn't just study anyone. He went to the absolute legends: Donald Ross, Alistair McKenzie, A.W. Tillinghast, Harry Colt, Charles Blair Macdonald, and Seth Rayner. He used these legendary designers' courses not just as beautiful landscapes, but as actual classrooms. Every round played and every fairway walked proved to him that great architecture begins with humility. All of this fieldwork led to one enduring truth. Great architecture rarely depends on dramatic features. It quietly rewards thoughtful play. This single idea became the absolute cornerstone of everything Hanse would eventually design and restore. Instead of imposing his own ego on the land, he learned to listen to what the land and its history already had to say. Section 4. Restoration as archaeology. Because true restoration, as it turns out, is not simply making an old course look brand new again. Because of his deep respect for history, Hanse views his work basically as an act of archaeology. It's about recovering what time has slowly hidden to reveal the signature that had always been there. Every bunker edge and green contour is part of a story written decades ago. And Hanse just wants to help modern golfers read that original story again, rather than rewriting it himself. Before he ever makes a single recommendation, his methodology is painstakingly rigorous. It's a real step-by-step archaeological process. First, he searches old aerial photos. Second, he studies the original construction plans. Third, he actually reads the historical correspondence between architects and clubs to grasp their true intent. And fourth, he walks the property repeatedly. It's literally humility in action. Section 5. Earning golf's ultimate trust. Let's see how this quiet, respectful approach led to absolutely monumental success in the early 2000s. Because of that deeply respectful methodology, his name gradually became completely synonymous with trust. While others chased signature, flashy designs, elite private clubs and major championship venues started calling Hanse. They called him precisely because his thoughtful restraint consistently produced the greatest results, protecting their history while prepping them for the future. Let's move to and see how this builds into the opportunity of a lifetime. When golf returned to the Olympic Games for the first time in over a century, a brand new course was needed for Rio in 2016. Against fierce global competition, it was Hanse who won the bid. It was his ultimate chance to show the entire world what thoughtful, classical design really looks like. We'll explore exactly how he translated this classic philosophy to the global Olympic stage in part 2 of this explainer. But I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful thought from Hanse. History is not something to be replaced. It is something to be understood. So think about this. In our constant everyday rush to modernize, what timeless brilliance are we accidentally erasing just because we didn't take the time to understand it? Hang on to that thought, and I'll see you in part 2.